Hey guys, what is going on? TMM here, and welcome to another episode of TMM Talks. Right now, we're just doing a couple training missions at the moment, and I am turned down all the volume and everything, but I am recording. You can hear the buttons clicking at the same exact time as I am talking, so if I die, it's gonna be kind of hard to focus. Anyway, we're gonna be doing it since we're doing a new TMM Talks. We're gonna be talking about something that came up recently for me, and it's depression. If you guys know depression, it sucks. I mean, seriously, you got people always asking like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Holy crap, I'm super sorry if I offended you." And for me, I handle my depression a lot better than most people do, believe it or not. At least I've heard. If you guys, there's clinic depression, there's thoughtful depression, and there's depression where you basically there's nothing you can do. Even if you take medication, you'll like take more meds just so you can get like more effed up, and you know how effed up you are. For me, these are the terms my doctor uses. I don't know any other terms because I never cared to actually look stuff up about depression anymore. I've heard so much about it. Basically, I used to have clinic minor depression, which is where you basically only had certain thoughts that it was annoying, but it's kind of like it hurts, but it's just not big enough to do anything. And then I'm not huge on self-harm, but I did manage to get a pencil pretty deep in my arm. Don't ask why. That's not anything to joke about, let's face it. But after a little bit of talking with him, it turns out I have clinic major depression, which is basically where everything's a lot worse. People who have it, normally they actually are a lot worse than me. I have it pretty light, but it's still pretty major, where it's basically like these kids like stick like freaking pencil sharpeners right in their arm, the little bladey end of it. For me, it's more of just thoughts and everything, like what I say and everything. And I'm not saying this to like, oh, if you have the exact same thoughts or even worse, you have depression. No, some people think that just because they're freaking messed up in the head. For me, it's because I'm messed up, but not in the way of like I'm a psychopath or anything. I'm messed up in the term that I hate a lot of things. I do not like a lot of things. I'm not exactly, people say I'm likable, but it's only if you don't know me too well. People who have known me for a long time tend to hate me a lot more because they know what happened in my past, and they judge me for what happened when they don't know the full story. And truthfully, if you have ever met someone like me, you know how bad it sucks to be judged, especially if you are depressed. People are always like, "Oh my God, what do you want this time, bro?" And it's just like, what did I do wrong? It's kind of just like, what the hell? And I'm going to be telling you guys a bit of what I've had to go through, whether it's with teachers in school, which is the worst case of it all, and I'm going to tell you guys about that. So I'll start with two students first, because that seems to be the heavier amount of the crap I get. Basically, some kids have it worse than me, where they're all self-harm or they've gone to a mental institution. For me, I have it very heavy via depression, but it's not like other kids. Other kids, it's kind of just simple. They hate life and everything. For me, I see things a lot differently. I do have a slight dyslexic thingy going on. That doesn't really, but I don't like that about me. It kind of just pisses me off a lot. But I do have ADD and ADHD, but I've learned to handle it. It's just not a big problem anymore. For me, it's just a problem of I get treated so badly sometimes. And you guys may just be like, "Oh my God, not this bullcrap again. We already had to deal with it in the unfairness." At least that's what I'm saying. If you guys are just like thinking right now, like, why would we ever say that? It's kind of like we never really care. That's kind of how I've realized I would think about it. Like every time I hear someone talk, it's just like, "Oh God, what now? God, I'm gonna probably get in trouble for this." And mainly, it has a lot of things to do with, if you guys don't know, basically, the issues I had in my past basically resulted in, at the moments they were happening, people consciously thought, this kid's a complete jerk. He does not need to be here today. He just doesn't need to be at the school. It's like, he's a jerk. Why? And then once everything got a bit better and it turned from anger problems, depression, to just clinical thoughts, depression, and I hate a lot of things, then it started to kind of shift. People didn't think of me as an asshole or a jerk. Consciously, it was just kind of subconsciously, like in the back of their head, whenever they hear my name, it's just kind of like, he's just, you know, Team M. It doesn't matter. But when people see me, it's like, oh, he's such a jerk and everything. It's because of my past, and they subconsciously think that. And when they see me, their subconscious kind of like lets them know, hey, this kid's a jerk, man. And I could literally say, hey, nice hair today, man. It looks cool. And they can be like, asshole. And that's kind of what I mean. People who do not know me, like, I'll give you a bit of frame of reference. Back in my dating video, I said something about, like, how people, like, say my past is, like, shit and everything. My past is shit, let's face it. But girls especially, or girls who do not know my past, are girls who know my past, sorry, are always just, like, girls who do know my past, I don't know if I said that, girls who do know my past always say I'm very hard to like. It's just kind of like, because you're just such a jerk all the time. And I say, yes, I completely understand if you think that way, just because I do understand it. It's not hard to understand because I've had to deal with it from, like, teachers and everything. And it's just kind of obnoxious at this point. But, basically, girls who do not know my past say, God, he's so nice and everything. And it's just because I've changed so much. It's just because I've gotten used to everything. People always talk shit about me. It's just like, I'm used to it at this point. It's not a big deal anymore. I get lied to a lot. It's like, it's not fun. You may just think, oh, he's just depressed. Get over it, dude. Honestly, it's not that easy, especially when it ruins your life, especially for me. Kids in my school, especially like the counselors and everything, are always like, they don't know how to work with me, because kids who have it a lot less don't tend to have the same issues. They just tend to have the issues like, oh, I hate life hates me, good enough. Kids who have it worse are like self-harm and everything. With me, I take a whole different route to depression. I've been treated like it, and that kind of causes my depression and everything. And it's not fun. I've said that enough, but it's not a lot of fun being, you think, oh, it's just depression, get over it, a lot of kids have it worse. That's what I hate about it, especially when I always say, like, people never understand me. It's like, this is why I'm having a lot of issues, and people always say, like, get over it, you're just blaming your depression on it, when it's true. Even counselors and other people have said, yeah, you're different in the sense that your depression is different from everyone else's, that anyone who has it, whether it's school or somewhere else. I don't see things like, if someone let's say like they see a war zone, some people will be like, ha, the death of others, that's fun. For me, it's just like, that's really messed up. That doesn't need to be here at the moment. And I'm one of those kids who, I'm depressed, but I still have, I'm not saying if you're depressed you don't have a heart or anything, but I'm one of those depressed kids who, if I see something, instead of just like laughing at it or not exactly caring, I'll be one of those kids who just who like will help. And I'm not saying if you're depressed you don't help anyone. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if this makes sense. What I'm saying is that a lot of kids who are depressed kind of will just look at things and kind of just be like, well, they don't care about me, so I shouldn't exactly care about them. And yes, I understand that. I have been bullied before, believe it or not. And it does suck being bullied. I've been a bully and I have been bullied. It sucks either way. It's completely it sucks really bad. And that's kind of what kind of causes the depression a bit, but I have a certain kind of depression where guidance counselors, especially, and school teachers, I get in trouble for this a lot because they don't understand it. Kids who are, like I said, kids who are depressed is either good or bad. It's like either self-harm or life sucks. For me, it's just kind of like, I see things a bit differently. Like, I don't see anything as self-harm, life sucks. No, I kind of just see things kind of like, why do I have to, which is like, what brought me here? Like, kind of regretting kind of everything. But I'm one of those kids who, I don't like physically do self-harm. It's kind of like, why should I be here when no one ever cares? Because from my point of view, if I'm like a politician, from my point of view, it really sucks being me. Personally, I talk to kids about it, but no one ever really listens to me. Unfortunately, they do not get me. People say I'm unbelievable at times. And it's just like, okay, that's nice. Especially teachers, whenever everything goes in, everything for me kind of goes in the wrong direction. And if you guys kind of hear me, I'll kind of sometimes be like, oh my god, my luck is really bad, especially because I have parents that aren't exactly the best at all. They're jerks. But I have like similar problems in the sense that it's just kind of like I've dealt with this crap for a bunch of time, and there's always I'm not stupid, but academics are one thing that if I'm around academics, I cannot stand academics. It's just one thing I hate. School is a thing I hate, where kids are always like, ew, you're so stupid, you don't understand this. And I've been called stupid by teachers before because of my academic issues. And I've kind of come up with a little solution for it that I think you guys will want to hear if you got the same kind of issue. Basically, I get one thing. Kids are always like, oh my god, this is such an obvious answer or an obvious question. How do you not know this? We just studied it or something like that. Whatever you kind of want to call it. I just say, okay, you think that's obvious? And I ask them mainly the Star Wars question, like, who was Anakin? Was Anakin's father ever shown in the movie? Or what was Anakin's mom called? Shmisa, obviously. And they'll be like, how am I supposed to know that? That's such a stupid question. And I say, well, school's not obvious for me. Star Wars is obvious for me. So if you don't know Star Wars, then apparently you're dumb. And they'll be like, well, I'm not supposed to know something that won't matter. It can matter if you're doing YouTube, or if you're trying to do if you're trying to help like a movie making company and you're trying to like figure out how to compete with the enemy. If that makes sense, about jobs and everything. I don't think you guys will really care, but that's okay. And truthfully, I've really gotten sick of it. It really sucks. I'm not saying like, oh, it sucks to be me. You should never be me. It really sucks. I'm not trying to say that. Sorry. I'm just saying that kids, teachers especially, you don't understand me. Basically, I'll give you kind of like a little point of view here, or a reference point here. This is especially true for me, not exactly specifically kids in my grade don't have this problem, the same problem that I do with this. Teachers, like, whenever someone tells a teacher like, oh, this kid said, ooh, a bad word or something they weren't supposed to, I'll always get in trouble for it. Even if I say like, bro, nice hair, they could be like, oh, you're just saying my hair looks nice compared to all the other kids, which means it looks stupid. And then they'll get offended and I'll get in trouble for it. I've had people call me bad names. I've had people flip me off. I've had people beat the shit out of me in front of teachers. Of course, they didn't exactly do it because I'm a bit bigger than them. I'm not trying to act all cool, of course. I'm just saying, like, they've tried to punch me and everything, and they've kind of been a complete dick to me right in front of a teacher. And the teacher's just like, I'm like, excuse me, are you gonna do anything? He's like, don't be rude. He's not doing anything. It's just like, really? That's not exactly right at all. And it sucks, like 110%. It really sucks. It's messed up. That's all I'm saying. Honestly, people always say like, you should go, if you could, would you go back in your past and change things? I would say no, because it'd probably be worse. Basically, the only time I ever got a kid ever in trouble, even once. And let me tell you, this was only once, and I never gotten a kid in trouble other than that again. It's one kid who was being a complete douche, physically and emotionally, putting me down and kind of just being really rude and everything. And the mission is successful for some reason, but that's okay. Anyway, it was just like, it was bad enough to where I had to tell the teacher, and she did nothing about it. So I had to tell her again. She did nothing about it. This was the gym teacher. I went to the guidance counselor, a personal guidance counselor that helps me and other kids in my grade. She did nothing about it. I went to the office 3 times. They did nothing. I went to the guidance counselors twice. They did nothing. I finally had to go up to the freaking personal guidance counselor and tell her how it was. And I specifically yelled my shorts off at her because I was pissed off. And they finally got him, and they sent him up to the office. And this kid was punching me, being a jerk, and putting me down emotionally and physically. Luckily, I've dealt with that shit before, so it wasn't a big deal. The kid only got a warning and a detention for half a day. Where if I did even half of that stuff, I would have gotten an immediate OSS, or out of school suspension. And that was probably how bad it's gotten. So I went back to the gym teacher after that, and I talked to her, and she was like, well, why didn't you tell me? And let me tell you, the kid who was beating the crap out of me got pissed at the gym teacher and said, he did, you didn't do dip crap. I looked at the kid, and I was just like, okay, that's fine, whatever, what the hell? And it didn't freak me out, it was just like, damn. Jesus Christ, it was kind of just like, whoa, okay then, that's nice, isn't it? That's great, man. Anyway, guys, I just about run out of time here. I guess I can see you guys in the next TMM Talks. I kind of did ramble, but it's better to get it out than keep it in. Alright, guys, sorry for kind of a very, very depressing video, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.